All right, welcome back, watch fans. We've got an exciting show for you today. We are covering the Phillips New York watch auction results. We had some shocking results again. Look, always auctions are a surprise, right? So this one we had the Cartier prices rocketing, and there's a trend emerging, and that's what we're going to be analyzing. There's a couple of interesting trends emerging right now in the vintage and kind of also the modern watch space. But these Cartier crash, the funky shaped watches, they are on fire right now. And what's happening is also it's actually trickling down into other vintage watch brands, not just Cartier. It's going into Vacheron, Patek, AP. This is the new thing that collectors want, and that's one of the things that we've been talking about on some of our videos. Shapes like, by the way, like the Ellipse. I'm going to put up here because we got the green screen. So we got this is very interesting. This is 3282, the Ellipse this is like a late 70s, early 80s Ellipse, very rare. This is where the market is moving. Stuff like this. Again, the Patek, kind of this rectangular shape with a kind of a stepped back case, onyx dials, so stone dials. That is where the market is going. So if you want to make money with vintage watches, you got to pay attention to these trends. With that said, let's dive right into this. Sorry, here we go. All right. We're going to dive right into the Phillips auction. Okay. So the first lot, let me pull this up. This is kind of a weird sale. This is, I think the biggest surprise for me was this, lot number one, right? So lot number one was basically just a bunch of junk, a bunch of garbage. I mean, not garbage, but, like, oh, it's not coming up now. It's the, it was a Patek Philippe, a wall clock. Now it's not coming up. That's how bad this lot is. It's not coming up. Oh, geez. Is it my internet connection? Is it the internet connection? Okay. Or is it Phillips? I'm going to blame it on Phillips. Because why is this thing? Oh, jeez. Wow. Their site is frozen. Okay. Hang on, guys. Stand by. Yeah. Technical difficulties. Technical issues. That's weird. I think there's something wrong with the Phillips website. This is, I mean, like, unbelievable but true. Nothing is coming up. Wow. Okay, hang on a second. Let me just see. Is this my imagination? Let me try another site. No, it's Phillips. How dare these guys? How dare Phillips? How dare Oral Box screw up his you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go to Sotheby's. I don't have time for this nonsense. I don't have time for that nonsense with Phillips. Is this gonna come up or no? Oh, that's ridiculous. Okay, you know what? Oh, there we go. Okay. Jesus. Okay. All right. Something was going on with their website. Okay. It's a disgrace, let me tell you that. All right. So basically this was lot number one, which was this, cheap wall clock, this plastic or brass. I guess it's a brass wall clock that they give to dealers. And they also have like a bunch of junk. Stuff that, you get as gifts, like these crappy ashtrays, these little porcelain ashtrays, these like ties, these the gloves, the Patek gloves, little wiper things, little wiper stuff. I mean, just tchotchkes, right? The estimate was $3,000 to $6,000, which I thought was actually generous. I mean, I thought that was generous. And this thing sold for, I don't get, $38,100. $38,100. $38,100. So, and that was a lot offered with no result. Now, unless this is a mistake. I don't think this is a mistake. This is just something bizarre that happened. I mean, this is just goes to show you what goes on with these, what can happen with these auctions. But okay, let's get to more normal stuff. So this is again a brand new watch, right? We got a brand new watch, and what's the retail is? It's not a lot. I don't even. It's a brand new watch. It's 2023. It's got stickers on the back. They didn't take off any stickers. 30 to 60,000 was the estimate. It sold for $241,000. Okay, I'm here to tell you guys right now. I'm timestamp this. Okay, the Cartier market. This is the peak. This is the absolute peak in the Cartier, the shape watches. This is it. I mean, it might go another, one or a couple more months. I've been saying it's peaking, and I was thinking it's going to peak by end of the year. I think it might happen earlier. This is like the blow off top. This is like when you have one of these markets which just goes absolutely, absolutely insane. It's not normal. I mean, this stuff is not normal. Only suckers are buying right here. Only a sucker would pay this type of money. Don't be a sucker, okay, guys. The Cartier crash market, all the Cartier watches, the markets have topped out. By the way, let me just bring up, we have an incredible weekly newsletter. That's right, our free weekly newsletter, which goes out once or twice a week. In there we cover the latest that's happening in Rolex, AP, Vacheron, all the good stuff, right? All the major collectible brands, vintage and modern, prices, trends, everything you need to know. And that you can get by clicking the link in the video description below. So click that link and get our free weekly newsletter. The list has grown. I mean, the newsletter, it's on fire. Okay, we have stuff there that we don't cover in these videos. It's a little more analytical. It goes a little more serious. And by the way, also our site is now live in the beta version, which is watchreporter.com. Watchreporter.com. So check it out. Now, back to the auction. All right, so the Cartier market, I don't know, crazy. This is it. Okay, so I'm going to go through this real quick here. So Cartier. Now these are watches. Actually, these three over here. These three lots. We covered it last. Was it a couple of weeks ago when we did the preview? And actually, these are really interesting. This over here, I'm actually surprised. This actually was a bargain. Okay. Is the site frozen again? Okay. So I'm talking about the Patek Philippe 3700. That's the Nautilus, the jumbo. Hopefully it's going to come up. Anyway, while we're waiting for it to come up, I have it right there on the screen. That's the one in the middle. And this watch was in new old stock condition. So basically a brand new watch that's been sitting in a safe for the last 40 years. Minty, absolute crisp condition. Box papers, everything. And two-tone. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we finally got there. Two-tone. And this 1984, we got the very nice sans serif font, right? That's the good one. That's the good font. It's better when it's black, but okay, I can deal with it as long as it's this font. That's that Euro style sans serif, whatever you want to call it, but it's not the serif font. And 60 to 120 was the estimate. Sold for 114 with premium. That's actually a good deal because these go in the secondary market for about $75, $80 now, depending on in decent condition, naked, right? Here you're getting a full set, basically mint. Oh, I'm sorry. Did it come with box papers? No, I'm sorry. I'm wrong about that. Just the extract from the archives. Sorry about that. But you can see it's essentially a new watch. You're never going to come across this again in your life. 40-year-old watch. So this $114 I think is a good deal. Now, Back to let's see here. Yeah, we got the Nautilus white gold. Okay, well, we got a Tiffany. Okay, so this is actually interesting. Um, this actually surprised by. It's a white gold Tiffany, Aquanaut. You see that little Tiffany dial right there. Okay, so you're paying extra for that. 114 grand, right? 60 to 120, 114 with premium. So it really like. What are the? I think these are about 85. Just the basic watch without the Tiffany. Um, in the secondary market. So this is, actually not a bad deal. Relatively speaking. Okay, relatively speaking. This I'm surprised by the 5740, right? That is the perpetual calendar. Again, you got a Tiffany dial, little tiny line of font that says Tiffany. Now, without the Tiffany, these things are 200 grand in the secondary market, about 155 retail. And this sold for, you ready for this? 355,600. 355,600, which is, I'm actually surprised by that. I'm really surprised by that. Because, this watch is actually not that, it's popular, but it's not, it's almost undervalued compared to all the Nautilus precious metal watches, right? The yellow gold, the what is it? The chronograph, the what do they call it? The El Jefe, right? That's what they call it in Miami. The Big Boss, right? It's kind of a bigger watch. You have the travel time. Those are like 200 grand in the secondary market, right? And they're not as good. They're not as important as a perpetual calendar. Again, this is a white gold. The dial is incredible. The dial on this watch is absolutely stunning. If you're going to get a Nautilus, again, and I'm cooling off on the whole Nautilus thing. This is the one to get. The Tiffany thing is not worth it, though. That is not worth it. It's a joke. It really is a joke. Whoever bought this watch, I guarantee you, if you bought this watch for 355 grand, you will never see that money again. That watch is never gonna come close to that again. You'll sell maybe, I don't know. Again, these markets are kind of, they're dropping for those hype watches. Slowly. The balloon is deflating slowly. It's going in other areas, right? We got a rotation. We got a market rotation. We got a rotation coming out of the hype stuff, like the COVID watches, and it's going into like vintage and funky shapes. We get a sector rotation, as we call it in the stock market. Right now, we have a sector rotation happening in the watch market from the COVID hype watches, which have been kind of going down, to, again, stuff like the Cartier, the Crash. You'll see some of the vintage, the funky shapes. Those are going up. Also, vintage, stuff I showed you, like this stuff over here. This is going to be, by the way, the next to move, to explode. And those watches that I showed you earlier, those are going to be coming up on our watchreporter.com marketplace. In the next couple of weeks, it's going to be available. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. Hang on, sorry, there we go. Next one up. Next up is, okay, let's see what else they got that's interesting here. GMT, okay. Okay, so stone dial, we got, what is this? This is a lapis date just, okay, not a date, a date just on the bracelet, the Jubilee bracelet. And this was 15 to 30, sold for 57,000. This thing looks very, look at that. It looks like it's, I don't know if this bracelet is original to the watch. because the bracelet looks like it's been kind of worn. The case looks really crisp. I don't think this watch. I mean, I don't think this bracelet is original to the watch, right? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But by the way, we mentioned earlier in a previous video that there are a lot of fake stone dials coming into Rolex now, which are really exceptional quality. It's the Italians are making them, and the Italians are incredible stone workers, right? They do those micro mosaics, pietra dura, all that stuff. So these guys are the masters, and I guarantee you that when they make a fake stone dial, it's going to be better than the Rolex stone dial. The only thing is, can they fit the crown and all that stuff on there? Can they make it, can they put that on there so it looks, legit, right? I don't know. But there are a lot of fakes coming out there on the market, so be careful. Let's see what else is over here. Let's keep rolling. Okay, you got this Paul Newman. And again, I think it's one of these other things that's, another thing has been overhyped, and it's. I'm actually surprised these prices are still up there. These Paul Newman dials, the Daytonas. I don't know what the big deal is really. I really don't get it. 500,000 to $1 million was the estimate. Sold for 952. Again, there's so much better stuff in the Rolex range, right? I mean, this thing is really in great condition, though, right? John Player Special. Okay. Yes, I think the Rolex, those like the Paul Newmans, those vintage Daytonas, I think we have seen the top, and now they're just kind of drifting. I mean, that for sure, that top has been in, and now they're just drifting down. And people are going to realize that only in retrospect. Wow, they're going to say, a year from now, 2 years from now, they're going to say, wow, we should have just gotten out of that or avoided it to begin with. Let's see. We get this chronograph perpetual. Okay, there we go. Okay, 1518, 1945. And this is, wow, look at this. And this thing is in, immaculate condition. I mean, it's like new. Is it new old stock? I mean, it's almost new old stock condition, right? I mean, this thing looks so good. And so that's, I guess, what you're paying for. And again, these are very rare, whatever, And it's a small watch, right? This is what, 35 millimeter? Yeah, 35 millimeter. So 1945, 400 to 800,000. Sold for 762. So it's about 600 grand. So like in the middle of the estimate is what it got. Okay, now, gentlemen, and I do mean gentlemen. Okay, so pay attention. Here is what's going on with, this is where the market is heading. This over here is where the market is heading. These, again, vintage, funky shapes, stuff that's really unusual, smaller case sizes. That's where the market is going. So take a look at this. This is actually, I think, a cheap price. So it's a, pink gold, rose gold, 1950, 42. So early. This is actually, and it's got this interesting bracelet. I wish we had a better shot of the bracelet. And the watch is, the dial is all, it's got some funky things happening on the dial. 3,000 to 6,000 estimate, which is obviously very low. Sold for 12,000 all in. Oh, wow, this is interesting. Okay, I'm glad I'm reading. Okay, so this watch came from the same family from the same family that consigned that watch we saw, the 1518, that was 750 grand or 800 grand, whatever that sold for. Wenger case. Yeah, so one guy, this is 1942. Okay, so that's actually very interesting, right? So one guy basically owned both of these watches. He owned this guy, which I'm assuming he bought first. I'm sure they bought him at retail. There was no real I don't think there was a real secondary. I mean, there was the. Okay, sorry about that. All right, let's. What happened? We popped out of the studio. Okay. So as I was saying, that was the original owner. This watch and this watch. That's actually very interesting, right? So same guy bought both of these watches. So that was that first one, that that was a starter watch, right? That got him started on the brand, on the Patek journey, in 1942. Middle of the war, right? World War II, right? So, who was buying this stuff? I mean, again, the economies worldwide were, basically, I don't want to say shut down, but consumers were not, it was people weren't spending money. I mean, there was rationing. I mean, it's not like today. There was no PPP loans, no free money, no Bitcoin going around. And this is a French calendar. So was sold to the French market in Vichy, France. The history of this is fascinating. Where did this? Who was buying this in 1942, 1945, right? In France, right? Probably let's let's be realistic. Most likely they were how do I put this in a, not to put too fine a point, but they're probably Nazi collaborators, right? If this was being bought in France, most likely these were the buyers of this, people who had money in France in the 40s, generally speaking, were collaborating with the Nazis. Like Coco Chanel, right? And by the way, let's that's France was actually they're kind of, I mean, they're kind of pushed it all under the carpet, but they were I don't know if they were happy to be occupied by the Germans, but they definitely were very cooperative for the most part, very cooperative. And I think their economy was actually booming with because listen, the Germans, they know how to make things run on time, right? Good work ethic. So at least they got that, right? So this is another French watch, right? This is 70s, right? Vacheron. We got a dual time, right? This is a dual time watch, 1975, and this is something. What is it called? The Prestige de France. I don't understand this award. Some sort of thing, right? It's a French thing. So this had a 15 to 30,000 estimate. Now a watch like this, which is white gold, yeah, you got the pavé diamonds. You couldn't give this away a couple of years ago. Like let's say 3 years ago, something like this was really it was just a novelty thing, and you couldn't give it away. Today, these things are red hot. How do you know? The market's telling you. The market is telling you. It sold for $63,500. $63,500. So more than double the high estimate. What is that telling you? I mean, look, you're seeing it right before your own eyes, guys. I'm telling you this right now, right? It's like you're clearly seeing the trend, where the trend is these funky vintage shapes, more interesting things. That is where the market is rotating to. By the way, speaking of dual time watches, if you're interested in the vintage market and you're actually looking at it as an investment, which is fine, right? Check this out. This is going to be on the Watch Reporter Marketplace coming up. This is a Piaget. dual time, right? You got this is late 1960s, double signed with Asprey. Okay, I don't know if you can see. Okay, so double signed Asprey, and one of these sold for about 18 grand at Monaco Legends last month. Okay, so we get an auction comp for over $18,000, and we're going to be selling this, which is identical to the one at Monaco Legends, except this is yellow gold. That one is in white gold. I think this is actually better in yellow gold. It's better. It's got the bumblebee look. A beautiful doll, guilloche doll. We're going to be offering this for, I think, under 16,000 grand in a couple of weeks. And the condition is, I'm looking at it right now. It's really outstanding. On the bezel here, you see it's got that engine turning or whatever you want to call it. Just two minor scratches, otherwise excellent. It's almost, I don't want to say new old stock, but pretty close. This watch has been worn maybe a couple times in its entire life. All right. So, by the way, make sure that you sign up for our free weekly newsletter, so that way you're going to have, updates on everything that we're doing in terms of stuff that we're offering to our members, things like that. But again, bottom line, the takeaway from this auction is we're seeing a very solid trend in vintage 60s and 70s shapes. I've been telling you this for a while. Okay. Cartier Royal Oak Perpetual. These actually, the market has been kind of getting a little, it's I don't want to say soft, but it is a little soft, yeah. So 50 to 100, so sold for actually at the high estimate, so 120 with premium. And this is the French dial, kind of a basic dial. Actually, this actually did better. Maybe it did better than expected. Could have gone for 100. Now, this is crazy. Again, watch this. This is, I guess, technically it's a ladies' watch, right? It's a Cartier. I don't know. Is it a ladies' watch? Maybe not, because it's a big shape, right? 58 millimeter by 32 millimeter wide. It's got a movement by JLC, right? Okay, so this thing had an estimate of 50 to 100, sold for almost $280,000. Cartier London, right? And you got this bracelet. That's part of the deal. That's that's real money for these watches. I mean, because this is, let's face it, who's buying these watches? $280,000, $300,000 for a watch. It's not what we've been used to in the last couple of years, right? It's not your Daytonas, your Royal Oaks. No, the market is going into a new direction, sector rotation, funky shapes. I'm telling you guys, that's why you got to get our free weekly newsletter so you stay on top of these trends, because we break that down in a lot of details. So, really, really interesting. Now, let's see. Even this thing, you got a minute repeater, or 2-minute repeater. And this is a modern watch, right? This is 2006. 25 to 50,000 estimate, sold for 101,000. Wow. I mean, that's a lot of money for basically a modern Cartier, right? Minute repeater or not. It's a lot. Okay, it's a limited edition still, that's a lot. It's we wouldn't have expected that 2 years ago. So Cartier is going bananas. It's absolute bananas. Interesting watch from Zenith. Is it going to come up? Okay, it's not coming up. Okay, here we go. The poker chip. Interesting dial layout, right? Mint condition, right? Looks very minty. Again, look at this. You got a funky kind of the lugs have this kind of funky thing going on. It's it's not a typical Zenith, right? It's not what we expect from Zenith. 1969, yeah, 60s. Look at this. I wonder if this was a Gerald Genta design. It's got that type of. It's got that vibe. No, okay. Anyway, 8 to 16, 34,000 was the price. So, and again, what the theme is, it's interesting. It's different. Sector rotation. That is what's going on in the watch market. The Platona, look at this. 70 to 140 sold for 95,000. 95,000 for the Platona. All in. Full set, whatever. And this watch I think is very overrated. It's a very, very overrated watch. This is these are dropping in price. This is dead money. Okay, we got another Tiffany Daytona, whatever. Okay, let me go to the interesting stuff here. We got a perpetual calendar on a bracelet, which was 50 grand. Okay, whatever. Let's see. 5711. Okay, so the 5711 here, circa 2015, full set, right? Sold 40 to 80,000 was the estimate, and it sold for 76,000. And I think these were, these have been dropping, right? So that's kind of a low price. So that's going to set the benchmark. So I think we're going to see these go below, into the 60,000 range within 6 months. No, I don't see any reason why not. The AP, the perpetual, the Cartier perpetual, again, very strong. Again, this is an unusual example. Sold for 60,000 all in. 25 to 50,000 was the estimate. So well above. We're actually at right at the high estimates, which is strong, very strong. All right. So the basic versions of these are also. They've been really going up a lot. Oh yeah, this is interesting, right? So this is this is an interesting watch, right? It's a JLC reversal minute repeater. And this is from that limited edition that they used to do back in the day. So this is 89 out of 500 full set. Yeah, circa 1999. 20 to 40,000 and sold for 40,000 all in. So these are actually kind of soft, right? But there's a bunch. I think they made how many of these did they make? They made 5. There's about 5 or 6 different versions of these. Different of those limited editions. And if somebody put together a collection of all of them, that would be really interesting, and I think would be quite valuable. So that's something that is worth considering. JLC's great watches, of course. So let's see. Oh, look at this. The Bill Clinton perpetual calendar. Look at that. It says the White House. I don't know. It's that equation of time bullshit. Equation of time, which I don't have time to figure out what that means, but Anyway, you get this whole full set with the Bill Clinton thing. On the back, it says William J. Clinton, 42nd president. There's no DNA, no stains on it, no stains on the strap from Bill Clinton, so you don't have to worry about that. The watch is probably never worn. 2007. This is from the Clinton Foundation. I think they did something with the Clinton Foundation. Anyway, 25 to 50,000 was the estimate, sold for, like basically at the low estimate, a little bit over. So Bill Clinton is his brand, the Clinton brand. The Clinton brand has gone cold. The Clinton brand has dropped faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse in 1993. Actually, no, in 1988. When was he governor? I think in the 80s, right? Of Arkansas. Okay. Check this out. So this is a very cool. This is the platinum titanium ultra thin. Okay, their site is too slow. I don't have time for this shit. Again, the site. Phillips, what are you doing, Phillips? Okay, I'm gonna switch to while this thing is. Should I wait? I don't know. There we go. Okay, I'm not gonna waste time with that. Okay. So yeah, I got FP Journe, blah blah blah. We got look at this. We got the rose gold Daytona on the bracelet with the diamonds, 30 to 60,000, and sold for about 63,000. So which is right around. It's about 60 grand for this. Is probably where the market's going. Actually, it's kind of a cool watch, right? The dial actually with what is it? A champagne dial? It's kind of a pinkish. It's got a pinkish hue. Oh, sundust. Yeah, they call it sundust. Yeah, so the sundust is actually kind of a cool. It's kind of a cool color with the baguettes. The thing is, though, sports watch. Think about it. A sports watch should not really have diamonds on it as a sports watch. It's just kind of ridiculous, right? And definitely not in solid gold. It just doesn't work. Okay, so we got. I'm going to skip through this FP Journe. By the way, check this out. This is a kind of a weird watch. We saw a couple of these in the last auctions. These Vacheron enamel dials, and this one looks really boring. It's not coming up, but anyway, 15 to 30,000, sold for 57. I think these were going for like 30 in the 30s. So, very strong price for like. I mean, it's a strong price for a dead watch, basically, market wise. So, it looks like, there is activity under the surface, right? So don't let these tomato cans in Miami, these Puerto Rican hubcap thieves, tell you that the watch market is dead. Okay, I mean, don't let these guys who put out the same video 5 times in a row. They just changed the thumbnails. This guy Juan. I mean, really, that guy is the definition of a crayon eater and a tomato can. So the reality is we're seeing a sector rotation, as you can see from these results. We're seeing a sector rotation into things, out of like. The hype watches of COVID era into Cartier, into more interesting things. Even this Vacheron. I mean, I wouldn't have imagined. I mean, hey, if the watch market was dead, as this guy claims, for the last 3 years, and yeah, for sure, prices went down. Okay, everybody knows, right? But if the things were bad, this thing should have sold for 20 grand, maybe 25 grand. All in, right? So FP Journe, Vagabondage. I don't know what the fuck this is. These are weird for me. Let's see. Urban Jurgens. I'm not gonna like spend too much time on these independents. Like, it's a little bit out of my my area. Actually, way out of my area. So, oh, this is a watch that we actually talked about in one of our in the preview. So this guy Haldeman, right? This is like all handmade, right? This thing is all handmade. There's a tourbillon in the center. You see how the hands move? Yeah, it's all handmade. And this guy basically will repair the watch. I think for free, right? Just send it to him; he'll repair it anytime, as long as he's alive. I'm assuming. So 80 to 160 sold for 247, 247,650 all in. I mean, this is a really personalized watch. The tourbillon is in the center. Independent watchmaker. I'm actually kind of. I mean, I don't know what is it worth. It's these independent these like indies. I can't figure out. It's like it's really I don't know what to make of this stuff. I don't know what to make of it because I don't really. Okay, so it's limited production. It's a one-off, whatever. They get a beautiful movement or whatever. Like in this case, like you're getting the whole story, but I don't know. What am I getting here? So this is a Philippe Dufour. Supposedly he's this very important guy. I mean, whatever. I don't know. It looks like interesting watch. 250 to 500,000 was the estimate. Sold for 533,000. So the market's obviously validating this, right? It's just a simple watch, and it's called simplicity, right? That's the actual. So this is somebody has to explain this to me. Like really, why is this considered? They're saying it's historically important. Okay, so yeah, I understand the guy. This whatever one of his first few whatever, right? Is it innovative? It's not innovative. I don't see it as an innovative watch. So I think for um, like in the art world, right? An early Picasso, something that he did in 1899 or 1900, is not worth anywhere even a fraction of what some of his works, or, the Cubist stuff or stuff in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s is worth. Historically, it could be historically important, but it's just not what. Actually, no. I'm using it's a different thing because it's his early stuff. Actually, he was a great artist from the beginning. I mean, he was doing beautiful work. From the time he learned how to draw, but it wasn't the main thing. But even here, this is not like I don't know what's so special about this watch. So, like, maybe somebody can leave a comment below and explain it to me. Like, okay, so the guy's a great watchmaker. So what? Show me. You're a great watchmaker. Show me. I mean, again, I respect the guy's a great watchmaker, but why is it worth 500 grand? He makes it by hand. Who cares? There's no innovation in that watch, right? I want to see innovation. So I think, if it's something that's historically important and innovative, okay, I get it. But that's just like a story watch, basically, I think. Anyway, Cartier, we got these again. What is this? What year is this? This is 2001. 100, 200 sold for 140. Okay. A little bit low, right? I'm surprised. Also very minty. Crazy. Okay, so this one is interesting, right? This is the Banois Allongé. Again, London, made it, Cartier London. It's got, somebody's thing in the back. You got this case. And all the stuff was handmade, right? It's all handmade. Uh, so 100 to 200, and it sold for 387,000. So almost double. That's real money. $400,000 basically. Yeah, I mean, if you pick up that watch in New York, if you go to Phillips and you go to the cashier and whatever the pickup, you're gonna have to pay sales tax also. So that's what, 8.75%, I believe, in New York. So that's $400,000. I mean, we're getting into some crazy prices here for again, the design, again, historically important. Yeah, this is a historically important. This is innovation in terms of design. Um, the movement is a basic movement, right? Just a basic JLC movement, nothing special. So this goes to show you that all those tomato cans that tell you, oh, it's the movement. Oh, the movement. It's never about the movement. I mean, really, never about the movement. So don't listen to these crayon eaters. Okay, this is cool. Cartier mystery clock. The Cartier clocks. We saw some crazy prices, right? I'm gonna put up a video of some Cartier clocks I saw at the show here, the Vegas watch show. And this is, yeah, look at that. This is a diamond. The hands are like diamond. It's like a dragon. Wow, rock crystal, jade. 1926, 300 to 600,000 estimate, and it sold for $1,047,000, and it comes with a box. So we saw like two of these sell at in Hong Kong. Was it one person who owned all of them? I think it's one person that owned all these things, right? I mean, how else would four of them Cartier clocks with full, the full box come up? I mean, no, they do. People do keep that, but still, it must have been one guy. And this one was 80 to 160, sold for 190. Okay, wow. And because it's jade, it does appeal. It does appeal to the Chinese market, which is it's an extra. That adds some extra sauce. A little extra sauce to it. When you have a big market like that, you get potentially 1 billion people, who are extra interested in something. All right, let's get into some dajas and oysters. So, is there a signature? No. So this is a, very interesting, right? It's a Datejust black dial. You got some diamond markers. 50 to 100, sold for 111,000, and retail by Just Genova. Just Yos. How do? Just. It comes with the warranty card from them, right? And that's their strap. So they sold it on a strap. Wow. Interesting. Genoa's a beautiful, beautiful city. What a great place to visit. Great food, nice, very nice people. Good value for your money. Really interesting place. Some great museums in that. What do you call the ambassadors? Ambassador Street. I mean, like, definitely, that definitely should be on your map. Great, great place. Um, for like a couple days, like 2, 3 days. It doesn't get all the crowds like Rome or whatever. So highly underrated, I think, in Genova. And this has got the roulette, right? The roulette date wheel in red. Nice leather strap, right? So 1950s, I was like, as the Italian economy started to boom, somebody was buying this watch in Genova. Uh, probably some ship maker or something. Now this, I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised that this watch sold cheap. Really surprised. 50 to 100,000, and sold for 120. Basically, the high estimate. You get this because it's all about these dials, right? This is this enamel dial. It looks like a beautiful dial. And I think we saw one. What was the price? I don't remember. Was it $1 million that one sold for last month? Which was like a different, like, it had a little painting on it of a little ship, whatever. Which was okay. It wasn't anything that great. The quality or the composition of the painting wasn't interesting. And that one was like, I think was $1 million. It was big money, 500, whatever, huge money. So I thought this watch would go for at least 200 grand, 250 maybe. So I was dead wrong. It sold at the high estimate, and maybe that somebody got a bargain. I think somebody got a bargain with that watch because you know exactly, Yuri, exactly. When are you going to send money now? All right. So what else we got in this auction that was interesting? Um, hmm. What else? Orvis? What the hell is that? Eberhard. Oh. I'm glad I didn't miss this. So Eberhard, all right. This brand, it's one to keep an eye on. It's a little bit like Universal Genève. So I mean, it's in that same thing, except they were more like sporty, more chronographs. So Eberhard, this watch had an 8 to 16,000 estimate, sold for 31,000. So nearly double the high estimate. Great condition, right? But I think what's happening is you're getting a spillover effect from the Universal Genève thing, right? So people are kind of looking for that next thing. Like, they're talking about different stuff, and I think Eberhard could be one of them. I mean, they had some interesting watches if you like this like chronograph type stuff. So definitely worth keeping an eye on. What else? Okay. Let's see. Okay, we got some basic stuff. Rolex. Let's keep going. Breguet. Look at this. Now we know one of our barons, Baron Red, actually has this exact watch. So just if he wants to know, if he's watching, this is what your watch is worth today, approximately. This is the current market. 6,000 to 9,000 was the estimate, and which was a little bit of obviously they're going to give you a little bit of a low number to start conservative, and the hammer all in 14,000 basically. $14,000. I think he paid like 12 grand for his, so he's actually in the money. What do we got? Day skeletons. Oh, yeah, it's kind of cool. So this is platinum and onyx from the 90s. 161,000. Excuse me, 165,000. That's a big number for basically a modern watch, like a date. You know, it comes with a full set, everything, right? You get everything here. Hmm. 60 to 120 was the estimate. Again, I don't know what's so special about this. You got an onyx dial on a date, so what? Platinum, okay. I mean, it's not that unusual or I mean, it is obviously whatever. It's rare, but how rare is it? Okay, so again, look at this. So this Daytona here. Look at this Daytona with these emeralds and diamonds. 70 to 140, sold for 228. It's a really good condition. So okay, so that tells you the market is market for that is good. Let's see. I'm going to skip through the ore work, whatever. I don't know the ore work stuff. Oh, we saw this FP Journe. We saw that, and okay. So the last one, which was again like nothing that special, visually speaking. You got the annual calendar minute repeater chronograph. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Perpetual calendar. Sorry. Okay. Perpetual calendar minute repeater chronograph. Platinum. 500 to $1 million, sold for 940. So basically $1 million if you have to pay sales tax. Yeah, I don't know. Like, are there better watches to get for that type of money? It's kind of a boring. Again, these modern Pateks are they're boring. I find them kind of boring, these modern Pateks. But then again, that's just me. So all right, guys, let me know what you think. Leave your comments below if you're watching this later, and I will see you in the next one. Make sure to get, again, our free weekly newsletter. Click the link in the video description below and check out our website, watchreporter.com. That's right, watchreporter.com for all the latest stuff. Actually, let me show you the site real quick. Should I show it to you quick? Hang on a second. I'm going to give you a quick preview. So this is still in the beta phase. Yeah, we're gonna clean up the design a little bit, but this is the Watch Reporter website, which has, oh, hang on, let me get out of there. So what do we have on the site? We have links to obviously some of our YouTube stuff, watch reviews, collection reviews, but there's a really valuable resource here, which is links to all these articles on enamel, like different stuff, vintage, everything you want to know, like a lot of deep knowledge, whether it's Gerald Genta, everything you want about vintage Rolex. I mean, we find basically we aggregate a lot of really useful content. So if you're a serious watch collector, you want to know everything about double signed dials, unusual Rolex bezels. Go to the Watch Reporter website for all those things there. And of course, we will see you all on the next one.